Continuity by Nick Muskowski. Empty streets, abandoned cars, and utter silence are of no interest to the bird. It soars silently through the sky, its shadow flitting over roofs apathetically. Beneath these roofs are homes, homes filled with love, dreams, and hope. Children raised, promises made, secrets told, growing old. And the bird pays no mind to it. Now these homes are shells, filled with nothing but relics and refuse. Whatever they contained means nothing now, and the bird knows this. Each house is a story written in a forgotten language, waiting for the last speaker to never come. The bird wonders if its purpose will ever be lost as the sun passes overhead. But the bird does not worry as it lands in its nest on the windowsill, and its chicks chirp with delight, and all is well. So I'll start by explaining how it's apocalyptic. It's obviously apocalyptic because all the humans are gone, so something must have happened to them. I talk about how the streets are empty and the houses are full of refuse, and so all the humans are gone, so something must have happened to them. So the main point of my poem, as embodied in the title, is continuity. So even after the apocalypse, even after the human race dies out, life is still going to continue on. Just kind of like it was talked about in Finis, those tiny microbes were going to repopulate the earth even after all the humans were gone. So I talked about that by embodying this bird flying over all this destruction and the relics of the human race. And even though we're flying over all this terrible sadness, how all the humans are gone, the bird doesn't really care. Because this bird is just a bird. It's just flying over, and it shows how even in this terrible destructive time, life will continue on. It'll just keep going. That's the main spirit of life. And furthermore, that's the main spirit of the human spirit. That's why I talked about, I embodied that in the homes. I talked about how they're full of love, dreams, and hope. So there's all these great things about the human life, but now they're gone. But that's okay because the relics are still there. That's why I said the houses are filled with relics. So even though the humans are gone, there's evidence that they were still there and the human spirit endures. Like I said, the house is a story written in a forgotten language. Even if all the speakers are gone, the story is just still there, the meaning is still there, and that's what's important. And I embody this in the very final stanza by talking about how the bird does not worry. It sits on its windowsill and it is with its chicks, and all is well. So even after all this destruction, life goes on. And so I try to bring this uplifting aspect to this apocalyptic time. Next, I'll talk about how I was inspired by what we learned about. So I was inspired by the road, obviously, because I started the poem by saying empty streets, so it's like an empty road and all the humans are gone. But I was especially inspired by the last line of the book where it said, in the deep glens they hummed of mystery. And I really like that mystery line, which is why I said the houses are filled with relics and it's a forgotten language. I like that there's some mystery that's left behind from the human race and how this great human spirit that we all have and endures through the human race is still there even after we're gone. I really enjoy that. I was also inspired by Ray Bradbury's poem Embroidery, because in Embroidery, these three women just continue about their house tasks and just like shelling peas and whatnot, even though the apocalypse is coming. So in the face of total annihilation, they still carry on with their everyday tasks, which shows the endurance of the human spirit. And so I showed that by embodying the homes and all the little things that humans do that really bring out the human spirit and are important, which is what makes us important as humans. And like I said, I was inspired by Finis and how life will continue on after the apocalypse. So I hope you enjoyed it. I want to talk about this one line: the bird wonders if its purpose will ever be lost as the sun passes overhead. So this shows that the bird thinks its purpose is very important, but it passes over the houses and shows apathy towards them. And I said the sun passes overhead that to show that it's a second layer, just like the bird passes over the houses apathetically. The sun passes over the bird apathetically.